stories around the world to stories here at home. This is the National News Broadcast. A pleasant evening. I'm Lanjali Ananda.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Lakshit Singha. We start off by taking a look at the headlines for tonight.
The number of corona-infected patients reaches 11. The President proposes to the leaders of the SAARC countries to devise a regional mechanism for the reparation of economic declines suffered by South Asian countries due to the corona epidemic. All electronic media air an awareness-raising program on the coronavirus at the same time. The chairman of the Elections Commission says nominations will be accepted in accordance with election laws.
On to those and other stories in detail now. We have just received an update with regards to the situation of corona in the country. Director General of Health Services Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinghe says 7 new confirmed cases of the COVID-19 virus have just been reported in Sri Lanka. All 7 of them are males and they are part of the group that arrived from Italy and are undergoing quarantined health screening at the Kandakadu Quarantine Centre. These infected patients are undergoing treatment at the Polonnaruwa General Hospital. Thereby, the total number of confirmed COVID-19 infected patients in Sri Lanka so far is 18.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa proposes to the leaders of the SAARC countries to devise a regional mechanism for the reparation of the economic decline suffered by South Asian countries due to the corona epidemic. The President also proposes for the establishment of a committee at ministry level to evaluate the health crisis situation. Leaders of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC, joined in a live television discussion aired through satellite technology in order to focus attention on a regional program to combat the COVID-19 virus, which has now developed to the level of a global epidemic. The discussion took place upon a suggestion put forward by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi last Friday. All SAARC leaders, including President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, extended their fullest support to the move.
Deeply interconnected. Therefore, COVID-19 has recently been classified by the World Health Organization as a pandemic. So far, our SAARC region has listed fewer than 150 cases, but we need to remain vigilant. Our SAARC region is home to nearly 1/5 of all humanity. As developing countries, all of us have significant challenges in terms of access to healthcare facilities. I propose we create a COVID-19 emergency fund. This could be based on voluntary contributions from all of us. India can start with an initial offer of $10 million for this fund. Let us also use existing facilities like the SAARC Disaster Management Center to pull in the best practices among all of us.
To share our experiences, our ideas and best practices, and also to understand the challenges faced and further discuss what measures to be taken to combat this deadly coronavirus. Therefore, I strongly recommend SAARC leaders formulate a mechanism to assist our economies to tide over this very difficult period. I also wish to recommend that a SAARC ministerial level group be established, discuss, share best practices and coordinate regional matters on combating coronavirus. We have to understand that it's very important that social awareness is very important in these type of situations. Therefore, I think it is very important to all the time educate the citizen the steps that we have to take for to prevent this type of situation. At the same time, it is important to control rumors and also that will lead to panic. It is important to control our borders. That is major steps that we have to take. It's a difficult one, but we have to take those measures to control effectively the situation. And also it is very important to have one place to disseminate information to the people and also to decide on steps that we take. Otherwise it will lead to confusion among the citizens.
No country on its own can succeed in combating the virus. It requires a shared response, precedent scale. We should create space for closer cooperation between the health emergency agencies to ensure that the countries in SAARC have unhindered exchanges of information about the virus and best practices. There is a profound need to formulate an economic relief package targeted to the affected countries. A comprehensive regional strategy to fight COVID-19 should include a long-term recovery plan for the region.
We need to devise a strong SAARC-wide strategy to fight this public health threat and to protect our citizens. All SAARC countries need to cooperate and collaborate closely to fight this pandemic. It is extremely important to establish an institution to prevent and fight against any public health threats in South Asian region in future. And Bangladesh will be happy to host such institution if you all kindly agree.
SAARC region has so far evaded the worst ravages, but given the experience of other countries in other continents, there is absolutely no room for any complacency. The SAARC Secretariat is best placed to coordinate regional endeavors. With this in view, Pakistan proposes that the SAARC Secretariat be mandated to establish a working group of respective national authorities for health information and data exchange, as well as coordination for responses in real time. Pakistan would like to reiterate its earlier proposal of hosting SAARC Health Ministers Conference at an appropriate time. Reach out on behalf of SAARC countries to specialized development partners, including World Health Organization, for mobilization for technical advice and resources. A regional mechanism is proposed to share disease surveillance data in real time about prevalence and incidence of communicable diseases and public health events of regional significance.
The aftermath of this disease will also affect the smaller and vulnerable economies more hardly than the better ones. So we are equally concerned that as we fight and as we try to contain this disease, we are also concerned about the economic outcomes of the disease. We must have a similar cooperation in economic get up on this issue because all the smaller economies are disproportionately hit.
Our greatest vulnerability is that we have an open border with Iran, one of the major centers, and the flow cannot be stopped. And the province of Herat is become the central node for preventing the spread and diffusion of this deadly disease to the rest of South Asia. Modeling of diffusion impacts and scenarios for management. Unless we model the diffusion, we will be facing assumptions from China or the United States or Iran are not suitable to our situation. I request the task force of SAARC to be able to do this.
Meanwhile, an individual infected by the coronavirus was reported earlier today. This 45-year-old male had engaged in the same tour of the individual who arrived from Germany and was confirmed to have contracted the virus. However, with the latest update, Dr. Anil Jasinghe says the number of infected patients has now reached 18. 11 patients who have contracted the coronavirus are undergoing treatment at the infectious disease hospital in Angoda. 2 of them are females, whilst the other 9 are males. Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinghe says none of the infected patients are in a critical condition and he expects them to recover. Dr. Jasinghe says although the World Health Organization has declared Sri Lanka as a country in which the disease has spread socially, he believes a severe situation does not prevail.
මේ විදේශිකයන් ආශ්‍රය කරපු අය හරහා ඇති වුණු රෝගිය. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා දැන් වෙනකොට ලෝක සෞඛ්‍ය සංවිධානය නම් කරලා තියෙනවා ශ්‍රී ලංකාව සමාජීය වශයෙන් රට තුල මේ රෝගී යන රටක්.
The Ministry of Foreign Relations states a family member of a staff member of the Foreign Ministry is among the 11 infected patients and the staff member has voluntarily presented herself for quarantine medical examination. Issuing a statement, the Foreign Ministry states it has taken a number of steps to minimize the risk of the spread spread of the virus. As an initial step, instructions have been given for the staff who interacted with the staff member here and abroad to undergo voluntary quarantined medical observation. Steps have also been taken to disinfect the divisions of the ministry. Medical investigations are continuing into 133 patients suspected to have contracted the coronavirus. Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinghe says an initiative have also been taken to gather information on Sri Lankans who arrived in the country before the quarantine process began and direct them also towards quarantined medical observation. They will be quarantined at their homes itself. In a bid to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, the government has declared tomorrow a public, bank and a mercantile holiday.
සුපුරුදු ලෙස හෙට දිනේදීත් සියලුම ආයතන විවෘත කර තැබෙනවා රාජ්‍යාංශයේත් පුද්ගලිකාංශයේත්. මේ නිවාඩුවේ ආරමුණ ජනයා විශාල වශයෙන් ඒකරාශී වීම වැළැක්වීම. ඒ අනුව තමයි අපි අත්දැක බැලීමක් ලෙස බලන්නේ. වැඩ කරන දිනයක් වුණොත් විශාල පිරිසක් දුම්රිය මගින්, බස්රිය මගින් තෙරපි කොළඹට එනවා. වෙනත් ස්ථානවලට යනවා. ඉතින් මේ නිවාඩු දිනෙන් තදා බලන්නේ එවැනි දේ තුලින් ඇති වෙන පැතිරීමක් වළක්ව ගන්නට කොයිතරම් දුරට අදාළ වෙනවද කියන එක සඳහා තමයි සඳුදා දිනය නිවාඩු දිනයක් බවට ප්‍රකාශයට පත් කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
The police headquarters states as a preventive measure, police clearance reports will be issued online. The application unit for police clearance reports at the Colombo district office will be closed for 2 weeks. The police headquarters has decided to cancel the police public day related events for a period of 2 weeks with effect from today. Public and private ceremonies at which crowds gather have been prohibited for 2 weeks with effect from today. Health authorities request the public to minimize the number of invitees attending weddings. Meanwhile, the police headquarters states provisions have been granted for the police to arrest without a warrant any individual who contravenes quarantine regulations. Police media spokesman says an operations cabin has been established at the police headquarters to record incidents pertaining to the new coronavirus and to provide information to the public. Thereby, 5 telephone numbers have been made available. They are 011 244 4480, 011 244 4481, 011 597 8730, 011 597 8734 and 011 597 8720.
කාටහරි ඔබ සැක කරනවා නම් මේ වෛරසය වැළඳිලා තියෙනවායි කියලා ඒ අයට පුළුවන් දැනුම් දෙන්න මේ අංකයකට පොලිස් ස්ථානීය නිලධාරීන් මගින් සෞඛ්‍ය අංශ සෞඛ්‍ය බලධාරීන්
The process of post monitoring of individuals arriving from China is underway further. The number of individuals that have been subject to post monitoring is 4,405, while 2,769 of them are Sri Lankans and 1,120 are Chinese. Southern Provincial Governor Willie Gamage says the disembarkation of passengers arriving in ships and travelling vessels at the Galle port has been banned from tomorrow. Director General of Civil Aviation HNC Nimal Siris says the government has decided to halt international flight operations at the Jaffna airport. Thereby, flight operations will be suspended for 2 weeks with effect from today. Passengers of 14 countries have been banned from entering Sri Lanka. With effect from the 13th of this month, the admittance of all passengers from South Korea, Italy and Iran has been prohibited. Flights to Germany, Denmark, Switzerland, Sweden, France, Spain, Australia and the Netherlands have been halted from today. In addition, passengers arriving by air from Belgium, Norway and Britain have been prohibited entry to the country from today. As a measure to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, engaging in pilgrimages, tours and trips within the country has been discouraged over the next 2 weeks. Minister Bandula Gunawardena says all retail and wholesale outlets and importation and exportation trade will continue as usual tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Foreign Ministry says reports stating that Minister Dinesh Gunawardena has contracted the coronavirus are false. Speaking at a media briefing held at the Government Information Department today, Minister Bandula Gunawardena said such rumours are being spread with the intention of gaining political mileage.
තදබද වෙලා ඒක රාශී වීම තුලින් මේ රෝගය පැතිරෙන තත්වයක් ඇති වුණොත් එය හැමට හානි කරන නිසා තම තමන් විසින් සොයන්
Meanwhile, our correspondents state very less crowds were seen in many cities today. A drop in the number of devotees attending religious services at places of worship was also observed. Awareness-raising programs on the prevention of the coronavirus were held throughout the island today. They also include obtaining data reports from local and foreign tourists arriving at rest houses and identifying those arriving in the country without undergoing quarantined medical observation. The government has taken steps to raise awareness on the prevention of the coronavirus through instructions being played on the ringing tones of all telephone connections in the country. The All Ceylon Muslim Intellectuals Association calls on the Muslim community to suspend until further notice all public meetings, including the community prayers conducted 5 times a day. The Raigam Tele's 2019 award ceremony, which was to be held at the Nelum Pokuna, has been postponed. The Kingdom of Raigam Company says after the present crisis situation ceases, the award ceremony will be held on the closest possible date. Secretary to the Ministry of Environment and Wildlife Resources Sarath Vijayasinghe says for a period of 2 weeks with effect from today, National Zoological Gardens, Botanical Gardens and National Wildlife Parks and Botanical Parks under the Department of Wildlife Conservation will be closed to the public. Acting Assistant Director of Wildlife overseeing Trincomalee, Kirti Chandratana, says the Trincomalee Hot Water Springs and Nilaveli Pigeon Islands will be closed for 14 days from today. The Presidential Task Force states in order to notify information and obtain information of the COVID-19 situation, the telephone number 117 will be available after 8 p.m.
The joint live television discussion on raising awareness on the spread of the COVID-19 virus was telecast this morning. The Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation organised this live discussion in collaboration with the Broadcasters Guild of Sri Lanka and the Department of Government Information. The live discussion was aired over all television and radio channels. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinghe requests expecting mothers who are in their 8th month of pregnancy only to attend maternity clinics in order to minimize crowds gathering in hospitals. For other expectant mothers, family health workers will visit homes. However, should there be health issues, these mothers need to seek medical attention. Dr. Jasinghe also said immunization of children for other diseases need not take place for the next 2 weeks, since when a clinic is conducted, crowds tend to fill the premises. Consultant physician Dr. Ananda Vijay Vikrama said when analyzing data received from China, patients who develop complications and patients who succumbed to the diseases have been smokers. Therefore, Dr. Vijay Vikrama advises smokers to quit smoking.
අයට රෝගය බැලඳුනහම සංකූලතාවයක් නැති මීට කඩ වැඩි. ඒ වගේම වෙනත් රෝග තත්ත්වයන් දියවැඩියාව, හෘදයාබාධ වැනි වකුගඩු ආබාධ වැනි රෝග තත්ත්වයන් තියෙන අයට මේ රෝගය බැලඳුනහම අවදානම වැඩි කියලා තමයි දැනට තියෙන දත්ත වලින් පේන්නේ. කුඩා දරුවන්ට රෝගය බැලඳීමේ අවදානම අඩුයි. ඒ වගේම රෝගය බරපතල වීමේ අවදානමත් කුඩා දරුවන්ට ඇත්තටම නැති තරම්.
Dr. Papa Palihavatna said when maintaining a distance, the possibility for the virus to be transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person is minimal. She explains when outside of the human body the virus dries up. She further states the virus imperatively needs a human cell to survive. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shalendra De Silva said they have identified 51 individuals who have interacted with tour guides.
පැහැදිලිව කියලා තියෙනවා අර පළවෙනිදයි 9 වෙනිදයි ආපු කට්ටියට මේ පණිවිඩය දිය යුතුමයි. මොකද්ද? ඒ කට්ටිය ආරක්ෂා වෙලා තමුන්ගේ පවුලුත් ආරක්ෂා කරගෙන රටට මේක දෙන්න නැතුව ඉන්නවා නම් අපි මං හිතන්නේ ඉතාමත් හොඳ සැලසුමක ඉන්නේ. මේ අද වැඩසටහන සිදු කරන මේ
Director of Government Information Nalaka Kaluwava thanked to the Sri Lankan Rupavahini Corporation for taking steps to air such an awareness raising program.
ජනතාවට සංනිවේදනය වුණ නැත්නම් මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අසාර්ථක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් මේ තත්ත්වය නිසා තමයි අපි මාධ්‍ය වගකීම ඉටු කිරීමට අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමන්ගේ උපදෙස් පරිදි අපි එකතු වී යුතුයි කියන මේ සංකල්පය මුලින්ම අපිට ගෙනාවේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා විද්‍යුත්.
Leader of the United National Party, former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe calls on the government to take into consideration all relevant views and prepare a complete plan that is acceptable to all to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. The former Premier details these views in a letter forwarded to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on the prevention of the coronavirus spread. The former Premier also states that he believes in the need of an acceptable complete plan not only to prevent the spread of the disease but also to minimize the economic and social issues that could arise in the event of a pandemic. Former Prime Minister Wickremesinghe points out as the government has already implemented a plan to prevent the spread of the virus, unnecessary fear can be alleviated by publishing the implemented preventive plan.
Meanwhile, the Janata Vimukti Peramuna says support should be extended towards the government efforts to combat the corona epidemic. Former JVP parliamentarian Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says joint support should be extended, setting aside petty political objectives. Former JVP parliamentarian Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said, as the Janata Vimukti Peramuna and the National People's Power, they are prepared to extend their support should the government put forward a plan to combat the corona epidemic. He says the government needs to arrange the contribution of proper leadership, bringing together all forces. Dr. Jayatissa says uplifting the health of the people and saving people's lives is their responsibility as well, and they should be dedicated to the cause. Therefore, they will not let the elections stand in the way. Dr. Jayatissa calls on the public not to panic unnecessarily and not to be deceived by rumours. He notes all media channels need to be involved in the task of raising awareness amongst the public. Dr. Jayatissa advised the public to always adhere to the instructions of the Ministry of Health.
Rupavahini gifted the children with the best, and once again fulfilling its national responsibility will be telecasting a series of cartoons yet again. Cartoons which won the hearts of the children over 3 decades will be telecast over the school holiday season. From 5:30 p.m. tomorrow, Rupavahini will telecast Mathake Randhanu Sundara cartoon, remnants of well-loved cartoons. Children will get the opportunity to enjoy well-loved cartoons such as Dostara Hondahita, Pissu Pusa, Valas Mama, Gulliver's Travel and Ha Ha Hari Hava. The Muppet shows and dubbed programs introduced by Titus Totavatta have been extremely popular since their introduction. In addition, the Dangaravaliga Lapavanara cartoon can also be enjoyed from tomorrow. The Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation is gifting these cartoons for the entertainment of the children as the school vacation has begun. In the present context, when television channels air content that distorts the young minds, Rupavahini, fulfilling its national responsibility, is telecasting programs that nourish the minds of children. Meanwhile, due to popular appeal, the Surya Dhyani program, which was telecast at 6 p.m. on weekdays, will now be telecast at 6:30 p.m.
Credentials were presented by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to the Chief Prelate of the historic Vevdatta Nava Kelagamuwa Purana Viharaya, Venerable Tamaduwe Saranatissa Thera, on the Prelate's assumption of the Chief Adhikarana Sanganayaka position of the Giruwa Pattuwa and Matara regions. The Premier, upon arriving at the Dedduwavala Sri Pantarama Viharaya, met with Venerable Saranatissa Thera and obtained blessings. Thereafter, the credentials were presented to the Thera. Prime Minister Rajapaksa also arrived at the Beliyatta Puakdandawa Panchatuparama Viharaya and met with Chief Prelate Yatigala Mangala Thera and obtained blessings. The Premier engaged in a cordial discussion with the Thera.
The Elections Commission announces that since tomorrow is a public holiday, the acceptance of nominations and deposits in view of the forthcoming parliamentary elections will not take place. Nominations can be handed in until the 19th of this month. Nominations can be handed in and deposits can be placed during office hours on the 17th and 18th and from 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon on the 19th. As a preventive measure, the Elections Commission requests for the number of accompanying persons to be restricted when arriving at the Election Secretariat to submit nominations. Chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, requested secretaries to the parties or an authorized individual or the individual whose name shows in the second line of the nomination paper to arrive to submit nominations. If necessary, that individual can bring along an assistant. The chairman of the Elections Commission requested political parties to prevent accompanying party supporters from entering the premises at which nominations are being accepted due to two reasons. Firstly, since under the election law, staging election propaganda marches is prohibited, and secondly, due to the COVID-19 viral situation, it is important to prevent crowds from gathering.
ඒට හේතු දෙකක්. එකක් මැතිවරණ නීතිය යටතේ පෙළපාලි යෑම එවැනි නීති විරෝධී රැස්වීම් පැවැත්වීම තහනම්. අනිත් කරුණ අද අපගේ රටට තර්ජනයක් වී ඇති COVID-19 එවත් කොරෝනා වසංගතයෙන් අපි ගැලවිය යුතු බැවින්. ඒ බැවින් මෙම දින කීපය තුල පමණක් නොව හැකියාවක් ඇතනම් අවම් වශයෙන් දින 10ක් වත් ප්‍රසිද්ධ මහජන රැලි දැවැන්ත රැලි පැවැත්වීමෙන් වැළකින ලෙසත් සියලුම දේශපාලන ක්‍රියාකාරීන්ගෙන් අපේක්ෂකයන්ගෙන් දේශපාලන පක්ෂවල නායකයන්ගෙන් ඉතා ඕනෑකමින් සහ කරුණාවෙන් මැතිවරණ කමිෂන් සභාව ඉල්ලා සිටී.
150 independent groups have pledged deposits so far, whilst 8 independent groups have handed in nominations. The Elections Commission states 8 registered political parties have submitted nominations so far. Meanwhile, a number of candidates of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna signed nomination papers today. SLPP member Mahinda Amaravira signed nominations representing the Hambantota district, and SLPP member Roshan Ranasinghe signed nominations representing the Polonnaruwa district in the presence of leader of the party, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The National People's Power says nominations will be signed tomorrow. All candidates contesting the elections under the National People's Power will sign their nomination papers at the head office of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna tomorrow. Meanwhile, it is reported neither the United National Party nor the Samagi Jana Balavega has decided on a date to submit nominations.
We move on to take a look at the sports news now. The England cricket team, which arrived in Sri Lanka for a test series, left the island yesterday. This was as the series was postponed until further notice due to the coronavirus risk. The test between Sri Lanka and England included 2 matches. With the spread of the COVID-19 virus, a decisive discussion was held between Sri Lanka Cricket and the England Cricket Board. At the discussion, it was decided to suspend the series until further notice. The Under-19 Inter-School Rugby League, which is being conducted by the Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Association, has been postponed. The Sri Lanka School Cricket Association has announced that the Under-19 and Under-13 Inter-Schools Cricket Tournament, which was underway these days, has been postponed until further notice. The Sri Lanka Athletic Association has announced that the selections for the Olympics and National Junior Athletic Meet, which were due to be held on the 8th and 9th of April, have been postponed. Meanwhile, due to the corona outbreak, the Asian Indo Athletics Championships, the World Indo Athletic Championships, the Asian Walking Race, the World Half Marathon and the South Asian Athletic Championships, as well as the Asian Junior Athletic Championships, have been postponed until further notice. The annual sports meet of the Kotalavala Defence University was held at the Sukatadasa Stadium yesterday and today. Although the And that's all the stories we have for you tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.